Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft Season 6. Today we're starting things off where we left it, with this giant slime ball guy. Oh my goodness, the amount of comments and name suggestions in the comment field of the last video for this monstrosity is quite insane. Thank you ever so much for investing your name suggestions for him, and I don't think there was a lot of comments saying that I shouldn't bumbify him. There was a few, don't get me wrong, there was a few people that don't want to see a mustache on him, but most people definitely want to see a mustache on him, so yeah, that may definitely be a thing. Not today though. Not today. We'll save that one for the future. Now what I want to do today to start off this episode is try and figure out a system for the slime collection. So at the moment this thing gets all the slime balls being shot out from these slime tubes, and it's actually, as I mentioned in the past few episodes, or at least in the last episode, it's actually very fun to just see slime balls being shot up, and right about now it would be really really good. Oh yes, really good to see some slime balls, because otherwise that makes me a liar. But yeah, there we go. Very frequently slime balls are being shot up in these tubes all the way up in there, and they're being packed into shulker boxes, and whenever the shulker boxes are full they come down here. Now I haven't been on the server for the past 7 days. I actually had to leave and go on a trip, and yeah, I've been away, so I haven't AFK'd, I haven't tested this farm out properly or anything like that. But it's definitely working, and I can't, for goodness sake, why can't we fly on this server? Anyway, despite the flying issues, everything is being packed into shulker boxes, and as I mentioned in the last episode, I now need a system where I take this shulker box, it gets placed by a machine, and I then craft these together into slime blocks, because if we were to store all these in shulker boxes, we would need a lot of shulker boxes. Like, this system would require so many shulker boxes before, you know, we start voiding items, if we want to keep a considerable amount of slime. And by considerable amount, I mean tons and tons and tons and tons of slime, because it is the best block in Minecraft. And if you wondered, everybody cares about slime. Now, I'm absolutely sure that there are tons of different ways we could do this. I've seen some pretty weird ways of this being done, and maybe not all that lag friendly.
That's an awfully large number of melons. Okay. Okay, hopefully I can do this fast enough to... Oh, wow. I might have crafted too many of them. I didn't... This is an enormous quantity. Oh, no!
And with that in mind, I really want to try and create a very smart sort of crafting system. Basically, I go here, and with ease I'm able to turn the slime balls into slime blocks, repack them into a new shulker box, and then I suppose this, I would like also to have the shulker boxes being restocked up there, and that's going to be a little bit of an issue to do, because I would need to add another tube for this entire thing. Now, I feel that this would be a very good point in to run into my creative test world, but I realized I think I've actually created something in our base already that we can use the circuit from, and I have to remind myself how that worked. Enter the ETM, the Emerald Trading Machine of Doom. This basically does what I wanted to do. This makes it so that whenever a shulker box is empty, it will replace it with a new one. So I would take out some melons, I would craft them into blocks, and upon taking the last one out, the shulker box gets broken and a new one is presented. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I want for piece one of this puzzle. The second piece would be to make sure that when I craft these, I kind of queue them into some kind of storage that packs them into a new shulker box or something like that. In this scenario, of course, I use them to trade with a guy, and everything is good. How did I build this thing? I'm impressed by myself. So I have an inverted comparator that goes into a pulse generator that sends a signal to that piston, and I assume that at some point I'm also sending that signal to the dispenser, which, where did I put this dispenser? It's behind there. I send the signal over here into the dispenser that dispenses a new shulker box. And the shulker box are just the stored melon slices from a shulker box loader on top here. And that's already what we've got built up in the slime farm, or slime compactor machine robot thing of doom. So yeah, basically this should be pretty straightforward. I don't even know why I had to look at the circuit. This is this is super simple redstone. I guess that's what happens when you don't play Minecraft for a week. I do not think that I've had a week break of Minecraft for a very long time. So yeah, it's probably not a good thing. So with the knowledge that I used this thing in the ETM, I decided to come on my test world and try and recreate it, but make it slightly different because it needs to be like facing differently. And I'm ready to test this out. So this would be our input right here. We could, in this design, probably have the hoppers going like that. And then this would place the shulker box, which I also have to remember to figure out. Oh, for goodness sake, I should just use the same design as I had, shouldn't I? Anyway, if I would take out slime balls, that would be broken and a new one would be placed. Absolutely brilliant. No worries there. And I made this slightly different. I added a 1 tick delay to the piston so that now I should have time to double click the items out without an issue, close the inventory, and then a new one is dispensed. But yeah, the shulker boxes are stored in that hopper. That is absolutely brilliant. So with this addition, we should have something. I mean, this looks ridiculous, but I think it's going to do what I want it to do. Let's try it out. So we come here, we take our slime balls out. That gets sent in there and gets placed here emptily. Very nice. We come over here, or we just stand still, I suppose. We just stand in this one spot. We craft them into blocks. And then once we've done that a few times, this eventually fills up. And when we put the last in, that gets broken, put into my inventory. And I guess because there wasn't any more shulker boxes, it didn't actually place anything. So let's try all of that again. Okay, so we craft this up to slime blocks. And we enter the last thing. That gets put into my inventory. And a new empty shulker box gets dispensed. I honestly think that's all there is to it. And the one bad thing with this system is that we're going to have shulker boxes empty queued up here. Now for every shulker box there's going to be like 9. So for every one we empty, we're going to yeah, we're gonna have a lot of shulker boxes just chilling in the system, I guess. So I decided to take a look at YouTube before I implemented this on the Hermitcraft server. It's always interesting to see how people do things differently, and of course our dear friend Ilmango has actually done this exact thing, and this here is his design. So I rebuilt what he has, and I'll put his tutorial in the video description if I remember it. But it basically does exactly the same as my design, but the advantages of this one is that it stores the shulker boxes separately. So to demonstrate this, let's see that we have a cleared inventory. We'd go in here, we'd take the slime balls out, then go in here, craft our blocks in the little crafting bench, very nicely like aligned. And then in this box, we would then fill all the slime blocks. And once that is filled, it breaks it and puts it into this chest. So and this chest gets all the empty shulker boxes. So it's very, very, very handy to kind of recycle the shulker boxes, which is really good. It also has an input for empty shulker boxes here into this dispenser, and it has an input here for the filled shulker boxes. So this would essentially be our input from our slime compactor. And I think I want to go with this design. It looks a little bit neater. It's actually, I think it's a little bit bigger, which is impressive. But this has the corner design. It also doesn't have the separated shulker box storage, which, I mean, I could make the separate shulker box storage, but then, yeah, then it would then it would probably get bigger than that. So I think this is what I'm gonna go with. And back on the Hermitcraft server, I think we're gonna go ahead and build this thing out quite a way, because at the moment, if I want to build it here, I have to go down and I have to like build it underground here, and I don't think that's what I want to do, although that could look cool. But no, I think I want to build it right here. So that means that we need to like transfer the items or the shulker boxes that are packed all the way over here, and then Maybe I move this building a little bit closer. I just don't want it to obstruct this. And just like that, that completes the front of it, and that completes the input. I think, yeah, that's looking pretty good. We can cover up, I guess we can cover up this block here and these blocks. Yeah, I think that is that how it looked though? It feels weird with the hopper there. Yeah, that's definitely better. And now it looks like I remember it. So again, we just take the stuff out and craft it into the blocks. And if I would have had a proper inventory, I would have got all the slime blocks, and then in here. And now the recycled shulker boxes get in here. So somehow we have to restock the slime robot with those shulker boxes. And I'm not really sure if there is a good or neat way to do it automatically, because I really don't want to create another tube. So I'll have to think about that one. But now I need to connect this up together. So this needs to be running into the right hand or the left hand, depending on where we look at it, into this hopper. We need to send these items. I honestly think a design like this is going to look the best. And then we could have things like that to wrap over. Instead of having it a 3 wide tube, I think I just want to have it like a 1, and then the items are flowing down in there, because we have to send them on ice, and I want it to look sort of neat. So I think that is going to look decent, hopefully. So I've connected up the tube into that input hopper, and now if I have that being a water source, we should be able to travel along here. And I guess that's not the fastest way to do it, because you don't insta break glass. And then here we'll put down a packed ice so that we can put a pressure plate on top of it. Pressure plates can spawn mobs, by the way, so that's good. And then this should... oh no, we're probably going to need another one. This should send the items all the way over there. And oh my goodness, how lucky was that? A shulker box was just sent. That's incredible. Did you guys see that? If you go back, I'm pretty sure, I mean, I did have some shulker boxes in here already, but I'm pretty sure that just happened. That is absolutely crazy. These should be working just like they were, and this has been tested. So if I drop, there's no shulker box in there now. If I drop these guys in, they should all make it into that dispenser. And it looks really good. I mean, it's just a normal water vader or water stream, but it's always very important to test these things. So now do I have, yep, there they are. Okay, so storage here may be a little bit of an issue now that I see this, because it's only 9 plus 5 plus 5, which is 19 in total. And that may be a little bit of an issue, because if that gets full, we're gonna lose shulker boxes and slime balls. I mean, to be fair, essentially it's just about making sure that we do the crafts and that we don't slack with this. We have to come here every now and again. The problem with this farm is that it runs all the time. So, like, because it's so centrally my base, there's no not running. And I really think that is... oh no, what's happened? Why was there water here? So it seems to me every time I take out everything from this shulker box, I get that error. Hold on. Boom. Yeah, water comes out here. Oh, wow. Okay, that's from the water stream. And that's because that thing gets pushed up. No, that thing gets pushed down. Okay, I see. This thing gets pulled down. So if I just do this, we should be fine. The water will just spill into there, and then... yeah, I don't think there's anything else I can do about that unless I have that water stream not be in the all the way, which, I mean, that's also a thing that I could do actually. But let's try this again, just to make sure. We take the slime balls out, and then we go in here and we craft them and put them in here. And this time there wasn't any water, but I actually didn't check that, so let's just do this. Yeah, everything is good, very nice. And actually this should fill our first shulker box. Yep, and we get a new one dispensed. We get a full shulker box of slime blocks. We also have all the empty ones here that we gotta transport back into the slime compactor. But this is exactly what I wanted. I'm very, very happy with this. Very, very pleased. So I decided to spend a couple of hours trying to design this thing, and I just see like a very ugly dog with one tooth and the ears, and I can't get over it. I've changed this up so many times. But regardless of the one-toothed dog, or whatever it is, I think I'm gonna keep it for now, and I'll see if I want to change it up later. But I think once I connect up the sort of tube, this is the same tube as this, once I connect that up together, it should look a little bit better. But honestly, we got this working, we got this functioning, and I am ready to do something else. And the next thing I want to do is to return home to Sahara, which, by the way, Grian has done some amazing work and some amazing details inside this place. I mean, look at this thing. It's really taken shape. What I really love about this shopfront area of the build is that this kind of represents just how grand an architect styled this build is. It's such an enormous project. I really like what he has done to the elevators. That's up arrows and down arrows. I didn't realize that, but that looks great. It looks absolutely great. So this area here is going to be the shop front, and I think I may want to start tackling that right now. But before I do, I just want to have a look, because Mambo messaged me and he has done quite a bit of bits inside here. I mean, when we speak of how grand this project is, it's easy to just take a look at the warehouse, because Mambo has installed all the pulse extenders. So now we have every cell pretty much done. And that's incredible. So all of these things that connect things up together has been installed, which means that we can now count the amount of items, and that was the whole reason we have this setup. I gotta say though, my frames are sort of dropping in here. Yeah, I got 60 frames in here. You know that you've succeeded with a grand project when the frames drop. I just had a very scary realization. This is supposedly the shop front of Sahara. So the customer comes in and they use a panel that we are to build right here in order to select the items they want to buy. And the actual shop panel, as far as we have talked about it earlier, is going to be one large chest which can hold 27 times 252 different type of items, and every item represents what you want to buy. So for example, if I want to buy an ender pearl, I would open up the large chest, I would press Q on the ender pearl, and it would then send me the default quantity of the ender pearls. So say that we are selling 4 stacks for a diamond, it would send me 4 stacks of ender pearls. And in addition to the chest, we would also have a selection of quantities. So the default value would be this lamp here. And then if I want to order double that amount, I would press the second button. If I would order triple amount, I would press the third and the fourth, etc. And these lamps will of course be lit to indicate what selection I made. And that's all good so far. My horrible realization is that we have to send one redstone line per every item that we get. So first of all, we have to have an item cell down there, which I've already designed in our creative test redstone world. But then we have to send one redstone line per item all the way up here, and then they need to connect to the right cell. So we have to send 50 different redstone lines that can't be connected from there all the way up to here. 50 blocks of redstone is at least 50 blocks wide, and that is if you use repeaters alternating with dust so that they don't connect. That's at least 50 blocks wide. I mean, that's this entire plaza. It's actually precisely 50 blocks from the staircase to here. So everything underground here needs to be redstone lines that goes into that warehouse all the way from over there. This may actually be super problematic. We may have to try and come up with a different solution for the selector. Now, to better demonstrate what it is I'm talking about, I decided to come into my redstone test world where I actually built a working selector panel a few weeks ago now, and this is it right here. So if I were to buy redstone, it says 1 stack for 2 diamonds. So 1 stack of redstone blocks in this example would be 2 diamonds. I then queue that, and this panel here should blink the redstone block. So that's how the system will know that I've selected the right thing. And I can do this again with potatoes, for example, and it's now going to select the potato right over there. And the way this works is super simple. It's just an item belt into an item filter, and then I take the output, and yeah. So this signal is what we need to send 50 blocks away. We need to have 50 of these underneath the selector panels, and that needs to be sent all the way to the warehouse. I feel like there's got to be a better way of doing this. The other way I think about doing this would be to, instead of having the item filter out the items at the panel and then sending a redstone signal, which is pretty much instant minus the amount of repeaters and the delay. The other way to do it would be to have, instead of having the redstone line, you could have one water stream that runs all the way. But as you can see, this would take quite a bit of time. I mean, that's probably the distance. It's not super slow, I guess. And the benefits with doing it this way would be that we don't have to send 50 different signals, because we can then decode the signals at the warehouse with this decoder. Yeah, the more I think about this, the more this makes sense. It would lower the speed of the order. It would make the speed of the order slower. But I don't think it's viable to run 50 separate redstone lines underneath the whole plaza. That's just going to cause a lot of lag and stuff like that. So back on the Hermitcraft server, I think what I want to do is actually set a long water stream line up all the way over to the warehouse, and then do some sort of pressure plate test to see how long it takes for the item to travel there. We can do that with the light source and see if this is a viable option, because this is actually something I'm getting a little bit stressed out by this at the moment. I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna be, yeah, this is a bit of a hiccup to this whole thing that we haven't thought about. So I ran a water line all the way over from the Sahara shopfront till here. And the way we're going to test this is like this. Okay, so I'm going to have my spectator account sit right here with the volume up high. And then we're going to toss an item from the Sahara shopfront to over here. And we should then hear how long it takes. Okay, so my spectator account is sitting right over top those note blocks. It should be able to pick up the sound. Let's try this out. And I should have maybe have a timer going for this. This is sort of like the feeling. So before it reaches the note blocks, well, it's going to be that plus like 10 seconds for the decoder. But that's just for the selection. Then it also has to deliver it. And okay. Well, it made it there. That's some good news. It made it there. It didn't actually take that long. So now the system, at this point in time, the system would know that I ordered stone in this example. I'm gonna have to run this by Mambo as well, see if he has a better idea. But if we go with this idea, in theory, it shouldn't be that tough to do the redstone over here, because all we need is the item cell decoder that I've already built in a creative test world. There's our block that I've already built in a creative test world, and that needs to sit under here. And then we need to run a signal to each and every cell, which is of course going to be a lot of redstone. Like that's going to be a lot of redstone to connect up. But yeah, that shouldn't be too complicated. And honestly, I think this is a way better way to do it than to send 50 odd redstone signals across the plaza, because that's going to just probably be very laggy. But with that being said, that's gonna do it for today. We are out of video time for this episode. But thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you did, do hit the like button down below. If you're brand new, consider subscribing. And I will see you dudes in the next episode.